we could get some hail. There could be some weather storm warnings going up, so we want to make sure that we keep an eye on that for you. Just keep it right here. Don Day will work his magic during the breaks and keep you up to date on all that. Right now, we're trying to get a high today of somewhere in the 70s. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But again, keep right here. And in studio, we have with us this morning, glad to have him actually back for a second run. His name is Bill Panos, which I figured out that is the proper name, how to pronounce his name, Bill Panos. And he is the director of some of the SFD team, I guess they call it, the Schools Facilities Department. Is that right, Bill?
The School Facility Department and Commission. That's right.
Bill, welcome back to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So it sounds like you guys are rocking the Casbah. First of all, for people that may be new and you were only on one other time, can you give us a little background of what you do and why your position's important in the state of Wyoming? And then we'll roll into some of the good news you've been telling me about.
The state of Wyoming is unique in the country in that it funds 100% of school construction, school facilities, and maintenance and operations. And because we're so fortunate to have a mineral-based economy to do that, we have a very active construction program, and have the last few legislatures and administrations have been able to really focus on public school construction and help communities throughout Wyoming with public school construction, and not just say that, but actually put money towards it. And so we have what is right now record levels of funding towards public schools here in the state of Wyoming.
And that makes your job a little bit easier, I would say, because obviously there's no school that can't be built, providing that we have an increase in revenue, as with any business. And because we have these increases in revenue, and we do have a mineral-rich state, I would say it makes your job a lot easier, say, from a state where you might have to get with under other funding, or maybe not as much funds to get things done that need to be done.
Well, most other states in the United States have to pass bonds, usually local bonds. These are fundraising tools, and they're very difficult to get. And each community, and if we were in another state, each community would have to raise its own money to do this. Here in Wyoming, because we're so fortunate with a mineral-based economy, it's paid for 100% by the state. Now, there are some local funds that are put towards these schools, but it is to finance some school construction that might go well beyond what our standards are. But in the vast majority of cases, it's funded 100% by Wyoming.
So when you took over, school funding was getting, what did you say, about 10 million, and that's been up since then. You've had to go through some of the backlogs. Walk us through that a little bit.
Well, the School Facilities Commission and Department receives from the legislature and the administration a certain amount of money every year to finance public school construction throughout the state. And there's a very complex and a very community-involved process to determine where we're going to spend that money and on what, on an elementary school, a middle school, a high school. And after all of those things are determined well in advance, then we fund projects as we go forward. And we have a very good system here, a system that's working very, very well for us. What you were referring to was that for a while there, that system was a little slow. It was a little bogged down, if you will. And a couple of years ago, we were probably putting out about $5 million a month. Last month, $30 million went out to public school construction, and it stays steady. Last few months, it's been 27, 28, 30, 32 million. We're at record levels of output to the community. So the communities are receiving this money to build their public schools at a record level right now. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing for every community, including Cheyenne in Wyoming. But it's also something that we have to be very watchful of as we move forward, because this is a very high rate of spending on public school construction. And while we're committed to doing that, we have to be able to monitor, sustain that over a long period of time. And given that the fact that the mineral revenues move up and down, we have to be very cognizant of that and watchful. And that's what we're going to be doing with the legislature in this next session coming up.
All right, we're talking with Bill Panos. He is the director of the School Facilities Department. And I would say, of the 23 counties that we have here in the Cowboy State, Bill, do we have construction going on in every county?
We do, in every county in the state. And in fact, in this county, we have about $50 million of construction going on right now. We're going to talk Davis, Prairie Wind, Meadowlark. We're actually starting to talk about Freedom Elementary School. And so there's a number of projects that are going on in this community. And I think we'll talk a little bit more about Prairie Wind as we move through the discussion today.
Yeah, well, that's great. Yeah. That's interesting that you come here, because I know this last budget session, I know a lot of towns were trying to get the governor's budget to give out about $25 million, which would have been 1 point whatever to each city, or at least part of that. But then we're finding out that that didn't get passed because they were a little bit nervous about some of the crude oil and some of these other things that were going on. Didn't seem to affect you a whole lot as far as your projects for school building.
It does. It certainly does. I mean, we are cognizant of all of that that's going on, and we our planning really takes place years ahead. So we're planning right now for projects in 2022, 26. I mean, we're planning well out in advance, and so a lot of the dollars that we're currently spending were allocated in previous bienniums 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and we're spending through those dollars now. So it's a little harder to match those two conditions when you talk about capital versus,
because they're staggered.
Yeah, and we have such long lead time on our projects. But I must say that both the legislature and the administration did a great job of providing as much as possible to all of the communities, the counties and cities throughout the state. And yes, they're cognizant of certainly of where our mineral-based economy is going, and where those dollars for crude oil and natural gas and other things, where those prices are coming in, and how that affects revenue. But they're also extremely committed to these communities, as exemplified by what they're doing with school construction.
That's right. We're talking with Bill Panos, and also, Bill, this is really a good challenge for you, which means you have to be good in a lot of feedback from the schools, because in order to plan 5, 7, 8 years out, not only is that good for you, for the schools, but also for the legislators that have to make these decisions. They've got to love you, man. Having all this stuff right out front so they can see it helps them make those decisions.
Yeah, we do this very, very early, and we do it frequently. We have to change plans. We're flexible, and we communicate in a very transparent way to all of our clients, including the legislature, including the administration, and particularly to the school districts.
Well, it's good to see we definitely have some efficiency there. And of course, Wyoming is known for that, Bill, and you bring efficiency to the table as well. 9:19 is the time. We're going to take a break. Then more from Bill Panos. He is the director of the School Facilities Department for the whole state of Wyoming. And we're going to dig into prairie winds. We'll have some of that discussion as well. All that and more straight ahead. My name is Gary Freeman. This is KGAB Mornings. Good morning.
Laramie Peak Motors in Wheatland proudly introduces the all-new 2015 Ford F-150. The new F-150 is the toughest, most capable F-150 ever built, and leads its class in payload and towing capacity. It's also the safest F-150 ever, having been 5-star government crash test certified. And on top of all of this, it's the most fuel-efficient F-150 ever. Check one out today at Laramie Peak Motors in Wheatland, I-25, exit 80. Or see their inventory online at LaramiePeakMotors.com.
Do you have $10,000 or more in past due federal student loans? Well, you may qualify to have your entire student loan forgiven with one free call. That's right. If you're a teacher, nurse, police officer, firefighter, or work for a nonprofit, then you may qualify for new federal programs to have your entire student loan forgiven. The Student Loan Council wants to give you free information on all the programs that can help, and the sooner you call, the faster they can help. Get the maximum loan forgiveness, loan reduction, or consolidation available. Plus, find out in the first free call what you qualify for. A loan forgiveness specialist is standing by to answer all of your questions for free. So stop worrying about your student loan payments. If you have more than $10,000 in federal student loans, this information could change your life. Call 800-579-4409. 800-579-4409. Completely wipe out your federal student loan debt. Find out how. 800-579-4409. That's 800-579-4409.
Cheyenne's #1 News Talk Radio, AM 650 KGAB, KGAB.com, and on the go with Radio Pup, powered by Union Wireless.
And good morning. 9:21 is the time. Welcome to KGAB Mornings. My name is Gary Freeman, and still under cloudy skies here in the capital city. Trying to get up somewhere in the 70s today. Don't know if we're going to quite make that. If you just joined us this morning, welcome and good morning. We are talking with the director of Wyoming School Facilities Department for the whole state, Bill Panos. Glad to have him here with us. Bill, we were talking a little bit about your structure, where your funding comes from, how that's done. Of course, it takes a lot of way ahead planning, good communications with these school districts throughout the state of Wyoming. And I know one that had quite a few hiccups. There was a lot of pushbacks on it. They finally were able to get a site and get that built. And of course, that was Prairie Winds right here in Laramie County.
Yeah, Prairie Wind is, as you said, I guess they'd gone through several locations. They had decided to locate it in the northern part of the city, so you can see it coming out of the ground if you travel on I-25 north. You can see it coming out of the ground there past Horse Creek Road. And we're on schedule and on budget on the project. It's about a $15 million, a little shy of $15 million school. It was started about 12 months ago, and that is a very quick. Usually they take us 18 months to 2 years to build. This one got built in 12 months.
Wow.
And it'll be ready for occupancy by the beginning of August, on schedule, right in time for them to move into the new building and to start school in the September
And
timeframe.
not only that, but also to notify parents that what kiddos are going to be going to that school as well. So that's also important, obviously.
Yeah, the whole logistics of getting the families and the kids oriented to this new school is going to be very important for this community. And it's something that our school districts do a great job in. Laramie County School District number 1, the school district here in Cheyenne does a great job of this, of the logistics of moving kids to these new locations. And there'll be about 500, a little over 500 students going to Prairie Wind.
And then there's been word of some hiccups going on at Davis. Kind of fill us in on that and clean up our brains here on that a little bit. Where are we? And is it true there were some hiccups there with the school?
Yeah, the projects, again, are really complex. They take a long time to plan. Even with all that planning, we can't always figure out everything that's going to happen with sometimes weather affects our projects.
Sure.
Sometimes the supply of steel affects our projects. Who knows? But we do our best to plan for these kinds of contingencies. And sometimes the projects, because of their complexity and because of the nature of them, they do get a little bit delayed. And I think Davis might be a couple weeks delayed. I don't know exactly the time frame, maybe a month delayed at most. There are a lot of ways that we can make up for that schedule because the projects are so long. We've been able to do that. But right now, I think that one's a little bit behind, but certainly those kids are right now in Cary Junior High. They're being what we call it a swing space. They're being staged in Cary, and as soon as that school's done, they're out. But the rest of the projects in Cheyenne are doing really, really well.
And when is the projected date for completion on that project? Do we know?
I don't have that right in front of me, but we certainly, next time I'm on, I can get that to you. And we have a Meadowlark Elementary School going on right now, and that's about a $15 million school. That bids, we actually send out the bid request to the contractors on June 11th. That's on time. And then we have Freedom Elementary coming up, and we just had a big meeting about Freedom Elementary. We're going to be adding a couple of wings onto that school to deal with the influx of new families to the military base. And so we're going to be adding a couple of wings onto that school. And again, the school district's done a great job of figuring out where they needed space and coming to us and saying, hey, we need space in these locations.
Yeah, I think Dave Bartlett does a fine job there. All right, let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on with Bill Panos. Good morning.
Good morning. Question in regards to the elementary school that was completed, I think sometime last year, and I think this is the first school year. It's between Ridge and College. Their back door is really close to Pershing, where Jimmy John's is. Dr.
Oh, yeah,
Donohue's.
you're talking about Baggs Elementary School.
Is it Baggs? They've already got at least one trailer already there, and I'm wondering, did they not figure out to increase the capacity of that school, that it's already overcrowded, or are we just backing up some other schools that are in construction? I'll hang up and listen.
It's a great question. We use what we call modular classrooms.
Used to be bungalows back in the 70s.
Bungalows, yeah, trailers. So we have a number of these, and we use them for a variety of different reasons around the state. And sometimes they have to do with capacity. That particular one I'm not sure of, but oftentimes they're used for what the caller had just mentioned, which is that they take in considerations of other construction that's going on, and they have to move, maybe a special ed space there, or they have to move a particular classroom or a particular program in one of these. And so we use them as flexible space. We have very few of them as compared to other states, but we do move them around, actually. We don't just buy them and leave them there. We'll take those modular classrooms and we actually move them to different locations around the state, reuse them, if you will, because we have different reasons for those. And sometimes it's that they have a problem with the capacity, or let's say they had a flood or something like that, or some emergency, and we'll actually put them down, and we can put them down very quickly, almost military style, and get them housed in a safe, clean, dry place to learn until such time that we can get in there and fix the problem.
I don't know. Some people, it's like a big deal for them. When I was a kid, man, I liked it because I'd go out of the regular school building, take a walk outside, go to the bungalow for my next class. It was kind of cool. Let's take another call. Good morning. You're on with Bill Panos.
Yes, sir. I was just curious. I noticed the trend nowadays, at least here in Wyoming, seems to be to build high schools without any gymnasiums or whatever. I know when I was in school centuries ago, all the buildings, all the high schools that I knew of had gymnasiums. And the reason I'm hitting on that is the school board here in Laramie County and Cheyenne was worried, is still worried about weather for graduation. They just have one building as far as I know, and without the gymnasiums at each school, that presents a crowding problem in my opinion.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot for the call. We're running out of time. Bill, you want to address that quickly, please?
Yes. We actually include athletic facilities in all of our designs and plans, and the state pays for those as part of what we call the basket of goods. So we put in gymnasiums, we put in tracks, we put in many athletic facilities throughout the state, and they're very significant facilities, and it's part of that sort of program that we fund throughout the state of Wyoming at the elementary school level, middle school level, and high school level.
All right. Bill Panos, Director of the Wyoming School Facilities Department. Thanks for being on today. It's a great conversation. If people want to get in contact with you or your office, maybe they have additional questions, how can we do that? Website
is the best way. You're looking at it actually right now. I can see on your screen. The website is sfd at wyo.gov, and the School Facilities Department has a great website that our staff have a great deal of information about our program on.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
1 in 9 babies will be born prematurely, needing the specialized care of a neonatal ICU. Toby's Shower for Babies knows that new parents appreciate any kindness during this stressful time. That's why they donate baskets to the Level 4 NICU in Denver, the closest destination for preemies in the region. The baskets contain blankets, books, a stuffed animal, onesies, and more. They brighten up the room as well as mom and dad's spirits. You can help by donating to this caring organization. Visit showerforbabies.org or find them on Facebook.
Are you feeling run down? Do you have aches, pains, or illnesses that just keep hanging around? Chronic medical conditions require an in-home medicine healthcare provider. A team of experts can help you to manage a number of conditions, including asthma, heart disease, respiratory illness, back pain, and many more. Call today to see what Cheyenne Regional Internal Medicine can do for you. 307-996-1560. 307-996-1560.
All right, 9:30, we have got Fox News. Also, we'll hear from Doug Randall and Kevin Coyle in for John Gabrielson. My name's Gary Freeman. More to come and your phone calls straight ahead.
AM 650 KGAB. Up to the minute news.
From the KGAB News Center, I'm Doug Randall. The verdict is in for a Burns man accused of killing his wife last summer. Kevin Coyle has the story.
A jury has found 61-year-old Ronald Zimmerman guilty of second-degree murder for shooting his wife in the face last July. The jury declined to find Zimmerman guilty of the lesser charge of involuntary manslaughter. He had argued that the shooting was an accident. He said he was fiddling with the 12-gauge shotgun on the evening of July July 20th when it went off and killed Teresa Zimmerman. Prosecutors argued Zimmerman's actions were intentional. During the trial, Zimmerman said he had been permanently disabled since 2005 when he fell about 30 feet from a scaffold and fractured his skull. Zimmerman faces between 20 years to life in prison and will be sentenced at a later date. Reporting from Casper, I'm Kevin Coyle.
Janet Lewis, Executive Director of the Alzheimer's Association of Wyoming, says the latest research shows many of the habits that keep your body healthy are also good for your brain.
We're looking at a cardiac healthy diet like the Mediterranean diet or the DASH diet, and things like exercise and using your brain by learning new things. Stop smoking. Eliminate your risk for cardiovascular disease by reducing things like obesity and your blood pressure.
Lewis says researchers are also finding out getting enough sleep is an important part of brain health. More news on demand at KGAB.com.
Welcome to the WyoPreps.com radio report for a Wednesday. I'm Kevin Coyle. Hard work can pay off in the form of a state championship trophy, but sometimes a lucky trinket can help as well. Cheyenne Central boys coach Tim Dennison says in each of the 2 years before this year, the Indians lost in the semifinals of the state tournament in Rock Springs, and their bench was on the same side of the field each year, as well as during this year's state championship game. After last year's semifinal loss, he says he found a pebble that he liked and buried it behind the bench. He says this year he had forgotten about it until after the championship game was over.
My assistant coaches, when everyone had cleared after the game, I was picking up my things facing that corner, and Trent and Bryce said something that triggered this memory, and I said, wait a minute, that's right. And I reached down and I pawed through those stones, and this one was exactly there waiting for me. And, you know, it's a good memory. I think it's a proud thing that I could remember that. But it was great that that's how the season finally rolled off.
Central defeated crosstown rival East 5-1 to win their first state championship since 2009. Video highlights and photos from that game have been posted to WyoPreps.com. I'll be back with more in a moment.
No matter what your level of hearing loss or speech disability, Wyoming Relay can help. Wyoming Relay is a free service that offers telephone services and specialized equipment so you can call anyone, anytime, anywhere. Wyoming Relay provides telephone access for people with hearing loss or people with speech disabilities. Wyoming Relay, a call anyone can make. Just dial 711 or go to wyomingrelay.com. Another smart resource from Wyoming Workforce Services.
And that's the ball game. The Warriors pick up a good win today, but the game isn't over. Let's see if they all make it home safe. The first player slides into the passenger seat and reaches for the seatbelt. Two other players are roughhousing in the backseat. Mom is already buckled in the driver's seat. She shoots them a stern look in the rearview mirror, and that's all it took. Both players buckled themselves in. Remember, the game is not over until everyone makes it home safe. Buckle up, every passenger, every trip, every time. Paid for with federal highway safety funds.
Many Wyoming high school seniors have already donned the cap and gown for their graduation, and the time is coming for some of them to put on the pads one more time. Practice for the annual Shrine Bowl football game starts this Saturday in Casper. On Sunday, players will be in Evanston for more practice, and then Monday they will visit the Shriners Hospital in Salt Lake City, Utah. They will then return to Casper to continue preparing for the big game, which is scheduled for next Saturday, June 13th at Natrona County High School in Casper. This has been your Daily Prep Report. For more on Wyoming high school sports, log on to WyoPreps.com.
After a very warm summer-like day yesterday in the capital city, a cool front's going to bring temperatures down today and bring a good chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms. June can be a month of severe weather, and we are looking at the threat of strong to severe thunderstorms this afternoon and evening over eastern Wyoming, western Nebraska, and northeast Colorado. The next several days will bring the threat of strong afternoon thunderstorm activity, along with temperatures that won't be quite as warm. So be prepared, especially late afternoons and evenings, for a few strong thunderstorms.
The West comes alive for 1 week this summer in Casper, and right out of the chute, bulls will rage, ropes will fly, and competitors will fall. And all of Wyoming will come together to tip our hats to champions. But dust settles. Like the rest of summer, CNFR week will go fast. Plan your trip to the Rose Bowl of College Rodeo, June 14th through 20th. and save up to 20% on your hotel when you book at visitcasper.com.
Hey, Wild Lotto fans, there's a new game in town. They call it Cowboy Draw. With growing jackpots starting at $250,000, better odds, and 2 chances to win per ticket, Cowboy Draw is aiming to deliver more action and more winners to the Cowboy State. Get into a draw at a retailer near you today with the exciting Wild West action of Cowboy Draw, Wyoming's very own lottery game. Lottery is a form of entertainment. Play responsibly. Must be 18 or older to play.
It'll be cooler and partly cloudy in Cheyenne today with a good chance of scattered thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. Be advised, a few thunderstorms could be strong to severe. Temperatures today cooling down to about 70 for high. Lows tonight near 50 degrees with lingering showers and thunderstorms. Partly cloudy with low to mid-70s Thursday, near 70 Friday. Thursday and Friday will also bring afternoon and evening thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Don Day with more weather on demand at KGAB.com.
At Brakes Plus, we take care of your car and you. If you have new tires or your car is pulling, bring it to us, the alignment specialists. We have the industry's best equipment and prices much lower than the dealerships. Brakes Plus is family owned and operated, so come try us out. Right now, get an all-wheel alignment for only $58. Service you can trust at a price you can afford. Brakes, maintenance, repairs, we do it all.
America comes to Brakes Plus, a lifetime of love.
When a loved one passes on, we wish we had one more chance to say thank you. But the truth is, we do.
Mom gave us all the love she had. Now we can all thank her.
For a lifetime of giving, a lifetime of thanks, allow us to serve you.
A lifetime of love.
Memories of a lifetime of love. Schrader Funeral Home.
Hi, folks. Alan Thicke here. You know, some things in life are just too serious to take chances on, and owing money to the IRS is definitely one of those. The IRS has the power to garnish your paycheck. They can levy your bank account, even take your home or business. Seriously. Thankfully, with one simple call, you can start solving your tax debt once and for all. Optoma Tax Relief is the leading tax resolution firm in the nation. They have over 250 professionals. They have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau and the trust of thousands of satisfied clients. Optima's attorneys can immediately protect you from aggressive collections because they are experts in the Fresh Start Initiative. That's a special IRS debt forgiveness program that could save you thousands. Don't wait till it's too late. Get serious. Call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-501-0866. 800-501-0866. 800-501-0866. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Gary Freeman gets you up and going weekday mornings on AM 650 KGAB.
All right, 9:40 is the time. The phone number 632-6500 or 632-3323. The webcam is on. So if you want to head on out to YouTube, some of you are already viewing this right now. So we appreciate you checking that out. Again, 632-6500, 632-3323 is the phone number if you want to be on. Something very interesting as we get into the presidential campaigns here shortly. We have a bunch of them running for president. Marco Rubio is one. And there was an article that read a conservative U.S. Senator, conservative in quotations, mind you, U.S. Senator Marco Rubio, presidential hopeful and darling of the Tea Party movement, is bankrolled by billionaire ultra-Zionist Norman Brayman. Brayman says the U.S. must remain a global military superpower. Why? So we can sustain Israel. We don't know, but some have speculated that Rubio's former name may have been Rubenstein. I don't know about all that. I think somebody was being sarcastic here in this. The Vietnam Welcome Home is coming up in Casper. And speaking of the Vietnam War, and a lot of you Vietnam veterans, there is a poem here, and I normally don't get into poems, but I think this is great what they're doing in Casper, and I know some of you are probably heading up there over the weekend to get involved with that. I think it is very important. We all have stories or probably know of someone that something happened to them as they were greeted by the hippie, peace-loving peaceniks of the 1960s when they got off the airplane. And it's enough to make you want to lock them up in a room somewhere and go toe-to-toe with them for a while, but of course we don't do that. And so there's always been a place in my heart, I know, for Vietnam veterans. All veterans, of course, but especially the Vietnam veterans, because they did not get a hero's welcome. They didn't have the ticker tape parade. As a matter of fact, they were called baby killers and rapists and everything else, all because their country drafted them to go over and fight a police action that it seems like nobody was really interested in winning. And finally, in 1975, and you may hate Richard Nixon, but he was able to get us pulled out of that mess. And man, that war started, what, in 63 or in the late 50s? It started, some of those campaigns started going on. But at any rate, as I said, we appreciate all of our veterans. And so we do have this, this Veterans Memorial Welcome Home coming up here in Casper. So I thought I would read this poem here this morning. And if you'll just bear with me this morning. It's not too long. But it says, setting off to Vietnam, feeling proud, feeling strong, but then I see the fear in another soldier's eyes. I should turn around, go home. I have made one friend. We both feel the same. The fear inside hurts like hell. Do people think war is a game? Here we are at Vietnam. Now I feel really sick to see dead bodies on the ground. The fear has come over me quick. I never been a killing kind of man who likes blood and gore. To think of killing someone makes me nervous. I don't think I like war anymore. I slide on my army suit, light green, dark green, gray. My daughter's birthday is in this month, the beautiful month of May. I touch my army gun and load it up with bullets. To kill someone would be terrible. I don't think I can do it. I run out with my troop. My stomach's going psycho. The guns start firing wildly. My knees are wobbling. I don't want to go. I pull the trigger and fire the gun at some random person. This is not my kind of fun. I hear a loud boom. A bomb is nearby. Then I hear a bang. A bullet hit me in the eye. I fall to the ground covered in mud. I clench my eye. My hand is full of blood. This wasn't my choice to be here today, to leave my family. I'm going to die this way. I fall to the ground. I'm going to heaven. I say bye to my wife and my daughter, who's 7. To this day, we remember the Vietnam War, the soldiers who died that left us sore. And for those of you that are interested, starting tomorrow through the 7th, the Vietnam vets are going to be honored in Casper, Wyoming. Gives everyone a chance to welcome home a group of American veterans whose original welcome was less than warm. The Vietnam Veterans Welcome Home Reunion will be held at the Casper Event Center. And if you go out to KGAB.com, then you can see the article out there. The Vietnam Veterans Welcome Home Reunion being held at the Casper Event Center, and they need your help. Governor Matt Mead put it this way: on June 4th through 7th in Casper, we'll have a chance to say thank you to the over 16,000 Vietnam-era veterans in Wyoming. The Wyoming Veterans Commission is teaming with our veterans organizations to organize the Wyoming Vietnam Veterans Welcome Home Reunion. Many of those who served in the Vietnam War did not receive a proper reception when they came home. This event gives us a time to right that wrong. The organizers of the event need sponsor help for food, refreshments, and souvenirs for the veterans and their families. And if you want to be a part of that, you certainly can. You can probably better just call the Veterans Commission at 777-8152. Again, that's 777-8152. If I try to give you the email address, it's really long and whacked out. Again, 777-8152 for information packet. The reunion will include welcome home ceremony, luncheons, receptions, a parade, a memorial service, and a welcome home barbecue featuring famed war correspondent Joe Galloway. So whether you're a business or private, nonprofit, individual, the governor's saying, please consider what you can do to say thank you to our Vietnam veterans, and I look forward to seeing you there. Sounds like Governor Matt Mead is going to be there as well. Again, for more information, I would invite you to check it out on our website or call the Veterans Commission at 307-777-8152. More to come straight ahead. 9:47 is the time. Good morning.
I'm Deputy Brandon Warner of the Silent Witness Crime of the Week. The Laramie County Sheriff's Office is seeking information related to the theft of an enclosed construction trailer that occurred between May 8th and May 11th, 2015. It was taken from the area of Arizona Street and Yellowstone Road. The trailer is white and has blue oval decals with black lettering that says DC Construction. It contained over $18,000 in tools. If you have information about this or any of the crime, call Crime Stopper Silent Witness at 638-TIPS. You will remain anonymous and may be eligible for a cash reward of up to $1,000.
A.J. Miller for family-owned Kia of Cheyenne. Buy a new car here and become part of the family. During our summer sales event, come in for a new 2016 Kia Sorento and hit the road. Any road will cost you less and be more comfortable with new looks, more cabin space, and advanced technology. 2016 Kia Sorento starts under $25,000, less than 2015 model competitors. Every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Come by or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, or we'll always beat any deal on any new Kia in any state.
Hi, I'm Elaine, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale College President Larry Arnn on the importance of the presidential oath of office.
Members of Congress and federal judges take an oath to the Constitution, but the Constitution prescribes the exact words of the oath only for the president. The American presidency was a new and powerful office created at the Constitutional Convention of 1787. Nothing like it existed in any other constitution in history. It was designed to allow certain virtues: decision, activity, secrecy, dispatch, things like that. And they were thought to be essential to executive power, especially in a crisis. But despite this immense power, the president is not so powerful as the Constitution itself. That is why presidents must pledge to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, and why it is the duty of the people to ensure that they do so.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
And now, back to KGAB Mornings with Gary Freeman on AM 650 KGAB.
And still under pretty cloudy skies here in the capital city, looking at a high today of 71. Don't know if we're quite going to reach that. Hopefully we will, if the weather cooperates. Your current temperature right now is 57, and there could be some showers and possible hail this afternoon on your drive home, so please be careful and be aware of that. Don Day says he will keep us up to date on that here on AM 650 KGAB, and so you can listen in for that. Well, a Paddington-like bear evidently was too frail for a rescue flight to Colorado. Evidently, Keenesburg, an elderly former circus bear, they're saying is too frail to join a flight bringing 33 lions from South Africa to a Colorado refuge, and instead will live out her days in a specially constructed habitat in her native Peru. Animal Defenders International announced on its website that Cholita, an Andean bear, like the fictional Paddington, is at the top of her natural lifespan and is prone to stress. So evidently, if they put this bear on the plane, it may stress it out. The Keenesburg Wild Animal Sanctuary Executive Director Pat Craig said ADI officials last week notified the sanctuary and donors that Cholita won't be making the trip next month. Cholita and the lions were rescued by ADI from outlawed circuses and local traveling animal shows in Peru and Colombia. And the sanctuary is almost home to 25 lions rescued in 2011 from circuses in Bolivia. So For those of you that were expecting Cholita to join the ranks down there in Colorado, they're not going to do that. 9:51 is the time. The phone number 632-6500, 632-3323. Yesterday, we cracked this open just a little bit, and I know some people had questions about these refugee programs that, as we understand, are potentially coming to Wyoming. Governor Matt Mead had signed off on that, and in 2013, I do believe it was. And basically, there have been those who have tirelessly been working to bring attention to the so-called U.S. Refugee Resettlement Program, or RRP. And basically, the way that this works is a governor, if he wants to be a part of this program, and evidently Wyoming was one of the last states to hold out, and I'm sure there's reasons for that. And, you know, I'm kind of like this. Already our sovereignty in the United States has been tanked. You know, they're trying to make it more like Europe. They're allowing these refugee settlement camps to come in. We had a little bit of a discussion yesterday about how that changes the culture and landscape of our country. And then on the one hand, we have the NSA not being able to take our phone records, as we shared in the story earlier this morning on our news segment. And the president is very much for that. The NSA phone records need to go away as it secures the security, but yet he still leaves the borders open. And that doesn't mean that they cannot monitor your what you search for, your search engines, your texting on your phone. It just means your telephone records. So we have to be very clear on that. But getting back to this refugee program camp, what happens is the governor of any state contacts the folks in D.C. and says they want to be a part of this program. But unlike a lot of these federal programs, the process is pretty simple. And then he works in conjunction with United Nations, and then they, the non-governmental organization NGOs like Secular Lutheran Services of Colorado. And so it's the governor contacting the DC, who's in turn in with the UN, and then they have these NGOs that facilitate this stuff. So when you think of Lutheran Services of Colorado, you're thinking, oh, okay, great, man, they're just, you know, trying to help people. Well, they're also helping to bring in these refugee settlement camps. The Catholic Church is also deeply involved in this program, along with other denominations that sound like churches, but in reality are non-governmental organizations, or NGOs. So be aware of that. And I think it's kind of sad that someone would put on the cloak of a church and get people assuming that they're one thing. Like we have Catholic Charities here in town that help people that are poor and without. But then to cloak themselves with this, really knowing that they're helping to bring these refugees in. And it's not that we're not compassionate, but folks, we got people in our own country that need help. And we're coming up on $18 trillion or $19 trillion in debt. And we're going to bring these people in. They're going to bring in their habits. They're going to bring in their lifestyles. I mean, think about the person in the office. You have some people in the office that when they leave at the end of the day, their cubicle, their workspace is clean and straightened out. They probably live that way. Then you have people that their cubicle looks like a stinking hurricane came through there. And it's quite probable they live that same way. In other words, they don't dust their desk. They probably don't dust at home, and on and on and on. And so what these people do is they bring their lifestyle to a country that just allows it. And then they have their crime rate. They have people fighting one another. This stuff goes on in a lot of these states where they're setting up these camps. So I think it is something to be definitely concerned about. Now, the NGOs, or the non-governmental organizations, are key to this because they, with the help of UN, seek out refugee populations to bring into the United States. So in other words, these are becoming more and more prolific. And of course, if a state doesn't have to pay for it on the front end, now, eventually, if they start wreaking havoc and doing all these other, I think the state's going to be stuck with some of this stuff, which means you and I are going to have to pay for this. But these private organizations are then paid by the head, much as with cattle, by the federal government. And sometimes even state funds are tapped for this service. So the more you have, the more heads you have coming in, the more money the states get. We have to start asking ourselves a question. Are we still going to sell out for a dollar bill? Are federal funds more important to a state like Wyoming than maintaining our culture, our way of life, and the way that we do things here? That's a question that we need to ask ourselves. 9:56 is the time. Good morning.
Black Dog Animal Rescue and the Cheyenne Animal Shelter invite you and your dogs to join us Saturday, June 13th for the annual Dog Jog and Summer Mutt Fair at Lions. Sponsored by Cowboy Dodge, Team Jackson, the Petco Foundation, Sam's Club, the Carlton family, and Number One Properties. Stop by to meet adoptable animals, learn about low-cost microchips, visit vendors, and more. It's a day full of fun at Lions Park on June 13th, kicking off near the amphitheater at 8 a.m. For more information, visit dogjogmuttfair.org.
Rev 'em up, Cheyenne. Belt Sander Racing returns June 10th to Capitol Lumber in Cheyenne. Who's got the biggest, the baddest belt sander in town? Is it you? Dust off that old sander and let's lay some wood on the 35-foot belt sander drag strip at Capitol Lumber on June 10th. Prizes awarded for first, second, and third place, and for the most creative belt sander. Check them out on Facebook or stop by 1222 Dunn Avenue to register.
Not available in California, Louisiana, and Virginia.
For years, vending machines meant one thing, junk food. Not anymore. With today's government-mandated push for healthier foods, there is now unprecedented demand for healthy vending machines, creating millions of dollars in opportunity. We're Fresh Health Vending. Hospitals, schools, public facilities, and more have inundated us with requests for our vending machines, which is why we need you. We have procured thousands of high-revenue locations and are seeking people like you to jump on board. Ranked this year by Entrepreneur Magazine as the #1 vending franchise and a recent recipient of Inc. Magazine's fastest growing business award, Fresh Healthy Vending currently has part and full-time business opportunities available in your area. Our industry-leading location procurement team will provide you with high-traffic locations contractually guaranteed to give you the best chance of success. Act fast to grab a share of a $47 billion industry. To receive 25% off franchise fees this month, visit readyforfresh.com now. Just use promo code 8888. That's readyforfresh.com, code 8888.
All right, that's going to do it. Join us again tomorrow at 6:09 as we'll get things kicked off with sports with Doug Randall. Also, we have more guests coming in tomorrow. Hope you'll join us. And don't forget to check out some of the interviews that you might have missed on YouTube at AM 650 KGAB. Have a wonderful day. Watch out for that hailstorm if it's on the way. Stay dry, enjoy yourself, and until tomorrow, my friends, so long for now.